Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I thought we'd look at a much older locomotive. In fact, this is a Hornby county class. I'll just talk a little bit about the history of this locomotive, and we're going to put this on the track and give her a run around and see how she holds up, because this model was made some time ago in the 1980s. So they really are getting on now, but she doesn't run too bad. She's pretty nice. I picked this up for about, I think it was about €50 last year in a local shop here in the town where I live. And this model, yeah, she's not bad. She's a very old locomotive at this stage now, over 40 years old. So let's have a look at the history of this class of locomotive. So do you think it's worth buying older models like this now? Drop a comment. So this is a Great Western Railway 3800 class, or known as 38XX, but she's a county class. That's how she'd be known as. This was designed by a chap called George Jackson Churchworth, and they were built in Swindon Works. That's one of the main works for the Great Western Railway. They built 40 of these locomotives throughout various years at just the turn of the 20th century. So they built some in 1904, 1906, and then between 1911 and 1912. Unfortunately, all were withdrawn between 1930 and 1936, and unfortunately all were scrapped. But there is a new member of the class. It's either going to be built or it's going to be in the production of being built, which is quite interesting. Be interesting to see that, if that all comes to fruition. So yeah, really interesting class of locomotive. As far as I can remember, this is a shortened version of another Great Western class of locomotive. I think, now I could be wrong because I'm not an expert on steam locos, I think it was a shortened version of the Saint class, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So she's a 440 type locomotive, and yeah, really cool. So let's have a really quick look at the model. I'll give you a bit of detail on the model, and of course we're going to run her a good bit on the track and see how she holds up after 40 years. So Hornby produced this model between 1981 and 1983, and the Rovex number for this model was R392. At the time, in 1981, this would have cost you about £27, in around that, and then it went up about £3 a year later. Hornby actually produced a clockwork and electric version of this locomotive, a tin plate version in O gauge, between 1931 and 1936, and it was actually County of Bedford. So that's quite interesting. This model came with a few features when you bought it. It came with crew that you could fit. It also came with steam. There was a steam generator in this, which is really interesting for the time. And you can see a bit of the detail on this now. I'll have a quick look at the detail. So the first thing you notice about the model is the paintwork isn't too bad. Actually, for the time, back in the 80s, it was pretty good. You know, the copper chimney, the rest like that is kind of a metal part there. You got the most of it's molded plastic. The safety valves there, I think. That's the whistle there. The handrails go all the way around the smoke box and the boiler, and they're quite fine actually. There's the 3821 is our running number. There is actually a lot of separately fitted Yeah, I think that is separately fitted. Yeah, it is. A lot of separately fitted handrails on this. I like the nameplate on it. That's just part of the mold, I think. A little bit chunky, the wheel linkage. Outside cylinders here. You can see there's a wire connection on that front truck there to help pick up. There is pickups on one side of these wheels. It's missing a buffer there, not too worried about that. Bit of rivet detail on the front buffer beam, painted in red. I think for the time it's not too bad. This comes with crew, and I don't know whether somebody has done that or came like that, but the controls are kind of picked out there. They're kind of a goldy colour. Yeah. Turn around, on this side you have the that's the reverser there. That's a separately fitted piece. A little bit of lining there, and yeah, the boiler banding is quite nice on it as well. It's pretty good actually for an early 80s model. Of course, if I show you, this is the tender drive. I think they had a bit of a reputation for being a little bit unreliable. Well, I took a chance on this one. Let's have a look at the tender. So here's the tender. It's obviously quite heavy because it has the motor in it. A little bit of damage on it here. I can repair that. That's no big deal. Of course, it has the high co-load because the motor's in there. Nice decoration on it. Great Western, their emblem. The lining's pretty good. More separately fitted handrails here, and you can see there's like a brake. Yeah, it has some of the coal load coming down out of the back of the tender there for the fireman. It's pretty good. That's where the pin there for it to link onto the locomotive. So the locomotive picks up the power and sends it back through this to the motor here in the tender. Of course, this tender has the ring field set up in it. No big deal. We got traction tyres. To get into the motor, this just lifts off. Fairly easy enough. But I think it looks quite nice. I had a look at it and I thought, this looks really nice. I think I'll pick this up. It didn't really cost very much. Let's have a look at the two of them together. So that's where it links in there. Let me see if I can link that in there. There we go. Can be a little bit temperamental over the points, but once the wheels are cleaned, it's fine. There's the two of them together. I think it looks pretty good. Decoration's really nice. Yeah. I don't think they did too bad a job. Of course, it has the chunky tension lock couplers. I think they can be unscrewed. They can actually. Might be able to fit your own kind of coupler if you wanted to. Oh yeah, as I said, it did come with smoke effect. I put this on the track when I got it first, and I thought there was something wrong with the motor. There was a couple of little puffs of smoke coming out here. I took the body off, and I realised there was a smoke unit in it. No, I took it out. There's a smoke unit there, just plugs in, simple plug in, and obviously you put your solution into the chimney there, and yeah, it does make a funny sound when it's coming out. It's kind of puff puff when it comes out, but I took it out because I was watching a video from 00 Bill on servicing this locomotive, and he removed this just for safety because if it overheats it could damage the plastic. That's the reason for that. I might try this out and see if it works on something else though. Well, yeah, it comes with the smoke. So let's pop her on the track and I'll put some coaches behind her, and we'll see how she runs for her age. Okay, let's go to it. So here she is in the track, ready for a run. Missing a little bit of paint here on the rear buffer mounting. I can touch that up. We can give her a bit of power on the Gauge Master combi and see how she goes. So I'm going to select the direction. Give her a bit of power. And she's moving. She goes into life. Let's see where we go. Not bad, really. See how she gets over the point work. A little bit of a stutter. Let's be on. I'll give the wheels a bit of a clean and we'll try her again. Up the line here now. Let's see how she manages the point work here. Up to now, a little bit of stutter. Very slight. I really like this model. I think there's a place in the hobby still for older locomotives like this. You can run the railway on a budget with older locomotives like this. Look how slow that can go. Wow. Guys, if you enjoyed this video today, give us an old like. And let me know what you think about this locomotive. I'll be back as soon as I can. And with a new video. And everyone take care, look after yourselves, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care.